It's tree season! For me, it's that time of year where I focus on nothing but making these things called Tree of Life. But what I like to do is change their name to Dreaming Trees based on the Dave Matthews Band song, and then sell them at Labor Day, which is when Dave Matthews performs at the Gorge Amphitheater. It's my 4th year seeing them live, and I'm super hyped. So if you happen to be around at the Wild Horse Campground, feel free to say hi, and please don't sue me for copyright, because, you know, I spend all my profits on nothing but Dave merch anyway. So anyway, enough backstory. You're here to learn how to make some Dreaming Trees, or better known as Tree of Life. So here's the supplies you need. You need some very thick wire, but I honestly can't tell you what gauge it is because I found this at Ace Hardware, and it's definitely not craft wire because it's difficult to bend and it smells funny. I really don't like it, but you know, it's the only thick wire I could find like a big roll of. You also need some thin wire. This one I do know. You'll either need 24 or 28 gauge wire, but I recommend the 28 because it's thinner and easier to work with, which is why I ran out, so I'm stuck with 24. You'll also need wire cutters, flat nose pliers, round nose pliers, and any color or shape of beads of your choice. As you can see, I've accumulated a lot over the years. And my caffeine buzz is depleting quickly, way too quickly. No. Okay, step 1, making the large loop. Cut a 12-inch piece of your really thick wire off and bend it into a sized circle you want, the ends overlapping each other. Then place your round nose pliers about an inch away from where the two wire ends intersect and twist a wire all the way around so that the pliers create a loop. Next, you line up that little extra end with the rest of your wire, and then use the flat nose pliers to bend your loop up so that it's perpendicular to the other wire end, and cut off the excess wire that's like sticking down. Oh god, no, caffeine, no, don't leave me. Lastly, take the overlapping wire end and tightly twist it around your loop using the flat nose pliers to squeeze it tightly around, and then cut off any excess. There are other ways to make loops like this. This is just my way that I found easier on account of how stubborn this wire can be. It's so hard to bend, it hurts my hands. I've stayed up so late many days making these trees, and I've been drinking coffee, and now the coffee's gone. Oh. So anyway, step 2, attaching the trunk. How I measure the lengths of wire you need, I lay the wire to be the length of the loop plus an additional, I'd say, 2.5 inches. Then you double that length, and that will be your first wire piece. For this size loop, I'm cutting about 15 wires total. You can cut more or less wires depending on the size of your loop, just be sure that it's in multiples of 3. Now it's that very special time of the day where the caffeine buzz wears off and we look at how Magic Cake messed up this one. Well, past me here undershot it a bit, so what is pictured here isn't quite long enough and is going to cause a lot of trouble in the future if your wire's too short. So that's how I messed up here. So back to your regular programming! Yay! After you have all your wires cut, fold each piece in half and wrap the wire around your loop 2 to 3 times around. When you do so, check the ends of your wires to make sure that they're still the same length as you wrap around. Repeat this for the rest of your wires. I'm going to be saying that a lot today. Now here's where you, the viewer, get some creative choice of how you want your roots to look. The original tutorial I learned how to make these from braided the wires together for about like a 1/2 inch. Which is why I requested that you cut the wires in multiples of 3. But if you're extra lazy like me, you can leave the wires as they are, or you can twist them together in 2s. You know, they all have their own visual effect. I mean, be creative. Gather all your wires tightly between your fingers and then replace your fingers with the round or flat nose pliers and then twist them all together 2 to 3 times around. I do this by twisting like the entire loop and keeping the round nose pliers still, like tightly around the thing. Step 3. Step 3, forming the branches. Now that you have your trunk started, separate the branches from the base of the tree, do a few more twists on the main part, and then branch off a little more. Then once you get to the top of your tree, go back and then twist the branches to your liking. My only rule I like to follow is to have the same amount of wires on the left and right sides of the loop, and it just makes it even. But give a little wiggle room when you twist the individual branches, and leave the ends about 1/4 inch away from the edge of the loop, because it's a lot easier to need to do a few little extra twists to get closer to the loop than trying to undo twists, because it weakens your wire and stuff. This is also where you get quite the amount of creative freedom of how you want your tree and branches to look. A couple of examples of different kind of trees you could do is that you could keep twisting until you get about 2/3 to the top and then branch off, or you could just branch off immediately after you make your trunk. Your branches could be perfectly symmetrical or just all over the place. You can have them straight or crooked, or branch off twice, or like not at all. I mean, go for it. Just go crazy. Step 4, beading. Now what colors could I choose for this tree? Now I'll do like blues and white. I'll call it like Glacier Mountain or something. Beat up the wire until it reaches the loop, and then tightly wrap the wire around the loop once. Then add one more bead so that it's laying over the top of the loop, and then wrap around... Oh my god. Wrap that around the loop again. This is what I wrote from my script. Repeat this 2 or 3 times, then finish off by wrapping the wire around 2 to 3 times, and then snipping off the excess and pressing down the end with the flat nose pliers. I am so bad at writing. You know what? This tutorial, who am I kidding? It's going horrible. You know what? Just watch me doing the craft all sped up with music in the background like every other craft tutorial ever. So, cause I gotta go to bed. So good night. Enjoy. Freaking 2 a.m. bus. The fuck? Bus, chill out for a second.